Hi guys, this is Mrs. Bowerson here, and I'm going to give you your lesson about community college, university, or both, or none, right? Not everybody's got a plan to go to college, but this is for those of you who are thinking about going to college or that college is a possibility in your future. I want to give you as much information as you can because there's a lot of this stuff that nobody ever explains to you. So it's good to have this background knowledge going in. So let's start with the levels of higher education. First of all, you can receive certificates, which are not listed on this document, that do not require years. Some certificates require only a semester or two, and that depends on what kind of certificate you are going to complete. But we're going with the major degrees or levels of education. So to get an associate's degree, you would have to attend for 2 years. That would be a community college level degree. Do not discount these degrees. These degrees could be nursing, which can make you, a starting salary of $75,000 to $80,000 a year. It can be a lineman degree, which are also very high-paying jobs. There are so many degrees that are 2-year degrees that are very good and don't end up costing a lot because they're at a community college, but also start you off at really high pay. Another example would be a dental hygienist. It would be a 2-year degree that starts you off at $60,000. So associate's degrees are good and usually inexpensive because they're at a community college and only for a short amount of time. The next degree we're going to talk about is a bachelor's degree. So that's a 4-year college or university degree. Now, that would be 4 years at a college like CMU, or sometimes you can do 2 years at a community college like LCC and then do 2 more years at CMU, and that would equal your 4 years. We're going to talk more about that later. Bachelor's degrees are 4-year degrees. Those are typically higher paying jobs than associate's degrees, but not always. 4-year degrees usually include things like becoming a teacher, an accountant. Most degrees are 4-year degrees. These are called undergraduate degrees. Associates and bachelors are called undergraduate degrees. Now we're going to move on to what we call graduate degrees. Graduate degrees means that you went above and beyond for more education. That would be a master's degree, which is often 1 to 3 years on top of your 4 years. So for example, I earned a bachelor's degree to become a teacher and then went on to earn a master's degree in curriculum and instruction, meaning that I could be an administrator. So I was in college for 7 years to get my master's degree. Master's degree typically means you're going to get a higher pay. So for example, when you're a teacher, if you only have a bachelor's degree, you can only make a maximum of X amount of dollars. But if you go get your master's degree, then they move you up and you can make more. Another degree, which is actually even further down the line than master's, is a doctorate degree. Now, we often get confused because we call doctorates, we call people doctor, right? Well, it doesn't just mean that they are a doctor as in the way we think of it. It doesn't mean that they're a doctor like where they have to have an office and you go visit them and they do checkups on you. It's just the type of degree they have. A doctorate can vary greatly upon your field. So, for example, to be a superintendent of a school district, many districts require that the person has a doctoral or doctorate degree, which would mean they first earned their bachelor's, then earned their master's, and now have a doctorate degree. So that's usually, I'd say, another 2 years. So that means the person would have been in college for 9 to 10 years to get that degree. Now, it doesn't mean all at once. They might have done first the bachelor's and take some time off, then the master's, take some time off, then the doctorate. But all in all, when you add up the years, it's about 9 or 10 years. Now, to be a physician or a nurse practitioner or a veterinarian or a professor, you'll have to have a doctorate degree. So those programs are why people end up in college for 10 years, because they have to have that high level of degree, which is typically the highest paying level of degree. I mean, you're talking as a doctorate, you'll be making in the six-figure range. Now, can you make the six-figure range with a master's or a bachelor's? Sure, depending on which field you're in. But overall, the doctorate degree is your highest paid level of education. This chart just quickly shows you that if you do not get any education as you go on in life, you will not make as much as if you get an education. Now, if you, in your lifetime, have less than a high school education, the average person earns $973,000 in their life. That's their whole lifetime. Think about it. You start working when you're in your, say, 20s, and you don't pass away until you're in your 80s. It's about 60 years, okay? Now, if you at least get your high school diploma, it automatically bumps up to $1.3 million in your lifetime. If you get some college but no degree, so we're talking those certificates even, just those certificates. I know that becoming a dog groomer, you can get a certificate. A nail technician, there's different certificates you can get. That will bump you up to $1.5 million in your lifetime. Getting an associate's degree, remember that's that 2-year degree, bumps you up to 1.7 in your lifetime. A bachelor's degree bumps you up to about 2.2 million in your lifetime. A master's degree bumps you up to a 2.6. Doctoral degree would be a 3.2 million. And then a professional degree, which doctoral is technically your highest, but a professional degree would mean those people who are like a surgeon and then they go on to be a brain surgeon. So they have a special professional degree in brain surgery, okay? They are a neurosurgeon. So they would be making 3.6 million in their lifetime. But notice the difference between less than a high school education and a professional. Now, we all can't make it here, and we all don't want to be here, but somewhere in this range is usually a good place to be. Okay, let's talk about college. So when you go to college, they have these things called credit hours. Credit hours are very interesting because it doesn't work like here in high school. So let me break it down for you. A credit hour equals the number of credits, well, actually, number of hours to equal credits. So what that means is, if you have a math class that is 3 credit hours, it means you will earn 3 credits for that class, but you must attend 3 hours per week to get those credits. So if it's a 3 credit hour class, you get 3 credits for it, but you have to go 3 hours per week to class. If you have an English class that is a 4 credit hour class, then you will earn 4 credits for that class by going 4 hours per week. So a degree, so if your degree requires that you have, so degree requirement, math, you have to have, say, 12 credits, there's 3 of your credits. It's different than high school. In high school, you typically have one class equals one credit. Half a year for that class equals half a credit. It doesn't work like that in college. So, 3 credit hours means 3 credits, but it means you need to go 3 hours per week. How can that look? Well, let's look at that. If I have a math class that is 3 credit hours, that means I have to go 3 hours per week. That means that that class might be offered for Monday for an hour and a half and Wednesday for an hour and a half. That's one way to do that. They have 3 credit hours. Another way could be Monday, 1 hour, Wednesday, 1 hour, and Friday, 1 hour. That'd be another way to do 3 credit hours. These are the 2 most common ways to do 3 credit hours. Now, science is a little different. Science classes are typically 4 credit hours. Now, why? Because usually they want you to do a lecture for 2 and a lab for 2 hours per week. So, usually you'll have the lecture on one day. One day would be 2-hour lecture. And Wednesday would be 2-hour lab. And there's your 4 hours per week for your 4 credit hours. I hope this is making sense to you. If it is not, please join me for my Google Hangout, and I will further explain this if you have questions. Okay, all this talk about credit hours, what does that even mean? Well, degrees in college require, a certain number of hours or credits to graduate, just like in high school. So, your degree might require 42 credits. And then there are specifics for each degree. So like your degree might require a certain number of math, a certain number of English, a certain number of science. And it will break that down for you in what is called a degree audit. Okay? When you go to college, you will be given a degree audit, which tells you all of this information. Your counselors at the college will help you schedule your classes according to what these requirements are. Speaking of that, how many credits is average? Well, that's a really good question. The average freshman will take between 12 and 18 credit hours per semester. So if you do the math, we just say typically you're going to take 3 credit classes, except for mostly science. So 12 divided by, if you take 12 credit hours, then 12 divided by 3 is 4 classes. But that can be different because you might have a 4 credit hour class. 12 credit hours equals full time. Anything under 12 credit hours is only considered part-time. So if you took, say, 8 credit hours equals part-time. Anything less than 12. 18 credit hours equals full-time, obviously, but it's a lot. And usually they don't let you take more than 18 credit hours your freshman year, since it's your first time in college, and they want you to succeed because you are now paying for these classes. And if you fail a class, you are now losing money. Okay, this concludes part 1 of this day's lesson. Please see the next video for part 2.